Greetings gamers, I'm Ian Higton from Eurogamer and this is an aerial assassination on an ocelot. Apologies in advance for my croaky voice, by the way. It turns out staying up all night singing sea shanties isn't the best of ideas. Now, I've been fortunate enough to follow a lot of the development behind Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I've visited Ubisoft studios in Singapore and Montreal, and I've interviewed a whole host of developers. But last week was the first time I'd actually managed to get a hands-on with the game, and what a hands-on it was. Over 3 hours worth of gameplay spread across two of the game's sequences, Sequence 3 and Sequence 6. Sequence 3 served as a kind of tutorial to Black Flag's many different gameplay aspects, with one of the first missions being the hunting and skinning of animals. The skins were then used to fashion holsters and other pieces of equipment for Edward to use, and this mechanic has unashamedly been lifted from Far Cry 3. In fact, it became pretty clear while playing this that the people behind AC4 had lifted as many popular mechanics from previous AC games or other Ubi titles as they possibly could in a bid to make the perfect combination of gameplay.
All sail! All sail! Take a shot! Right there, sir!
This is most notable now with the big focus for the game being on hardcore ship-on-ship action, which for many people was the standout experience in AC3. But alongside this, in Sequence 3 alone, we had hunting missions, missions where you had to tail people on land and sea, a claustrophobic diving mission which leads on to tasks which teach you how to upgrade your ship, the Jackdaw, a mission where you have to rescue enough pirates to crew the Jackdaw, multiple naval battles, stealth sections on sea, stealth sections in a jungle, and all this was finished off with a traditional assassination mission. Charging through Sequence 3 in a race to get everything finished before our time was up meant it was easy to see the seams between gameplay styles. Like a video game equivalent of a patchwork quilt, each separate piece looked great on its own, but the constant jumps from gameplay style to gameplay style made my experience feel slightly disjointed. That's not to say that I didn't have fun though. This was by far the most enjoyable AC game I've played in a long time. Much of what I found stale from the previous entries has been kept to a minimum, and the pace of the gameplay has been ramped up to make things a lot more exciting. There is a completely different feel to the way Edward's journey plays out alongside those of his ancestors. For a start, Edward is much more of a brawler. He's a cocky pirate, not a moody assassin, and this affects the tone of the adventure. It's louder, more chaotic, and due to his roguish character, and possibly because I was rushing, I often went into combat situations with guns blazing rather than trying to avoid them or take on my foes stealthily like I would have done had I been playing as Altair.
By God, you're a sight for salty eyes. Come you in and have a drink.
Morning, all. I can wait. Who's this? Adewale, the Jackdaw's quartermaster. Jackdaw. You named your brig after a poxy bird. Ade, these lads are the better part of our growing confederacy here. Ed Thatch, Ben Hornigold, James Kidd.
You let him carry a pistol, do you?
Peace, Ben. Ade saved my life. And now we're looking to find a crew to fill out the rest of my ship.
Well, there's scores of capable men about. But use caution. A shipload of the King's sailors showed up a fortnight back, causing trouble and knocking about like they own the place.
By the time players reach sequence 6, most of the game will have been opened up for them, and it was in this sequence that I got to do a little bit more open world exploring. It's a testament to the development team that they could make the open seas of the Caribbean so full of activities. Looking through your spyglass presents you with multiple ships on the horizon, each bearing different types of commodities. Choose to target one of these, attack it and board it, and whatever you manage to plunder becomes yours and will go towards customising the jackdaw.
Every man hopes to find a dozen chests of gold with no owners. They're as rare as...
There are also tiny islands dotted around, with some containing treasure maps which lead to sunken treasures or lost temples hidden in the depths of the jungles. There's shipwrecked sailors floating on the sea who can be rescued and added to your crew by a simple press of a button, which, to be fair, looks a little odd as they just kind of vanish into thin air, but never mind. There's harpooning, a throwaway, lol get it, mini-game that helps you generate commodities, and then there's the naval forts, large structures which act a lot like Far Cry 3's outposts. Liberate them after a lengthy battle and they will open up new areas of the world map so you can discover new activities and hunting grounds.
¡Rápido! ¡Que no se escabulla! ¡Tengo línea de tiro!
Oh man, I think I'm out of breath, and there's still things I haven't even touched on, like hiding from sharks, sea shanties, and God knows what else I've missed.
Aye, we're working on that.
Dear lady, what do they call you?
And when they're sober, a jilt when they're sauced, but never lady.
Well, good Leanne,
One really interesting thing I did notice though was that at the end of every storyline mission you're given an option to rate that mission out of 5 stars. All the data from this goes back to Ubisoft so they can use that player feedback when it comes to developing future AC games or DLC. They can find out which missions are popular and which have been hated and shouldn't be repeated in the future. It's something I've never really seen before, direct feedback to the developers straight from inside a console game, and as it's optional it's not like those intrusive "please rate me" pop-ups that you get on iPhone games. AC4 is the biggest AC game by far. It has the busiest, most vibrant world, with a list of activities and missions so long it would even keep someone suffering from attention deficit disorder happy for months. But does Ubisoft's emphasis on pleasing everyone harm the overall experience? For the hardcore AC fans, I think it might. The assassinations and stealth aspects did seem to take a back seat in favour of making an Assassin's Creed meets Far Cry 3 style experience, but for people like me who are tired of the repetition in the series, I think Black Flag might just be the breath of fresh sea air that is needed to invigorate this franchise. We'll have more AC4 Black Flag coverage in the run-up to release, and once it launches, we'll be broadcasting community multiplayer live streams and open world playthroughs right here on this channel. So please do click on that on-screen annotation and subscribe for this and yo-ho, so much more, me hearties. Yar! Oh god, I'm off to gargle with some seawater. Oh.
I'm not a man accustomed to murder, Captain. And if you're taking quarter, you'd not be seeping now.
Sack of muzzle gobshite. You'll be hanged and sun-dried just as them there were in Boston.
The King's called for a pardon.